sweet kitty cats are, what are you going to do? You're going to go, oh. Try it again. If they say, my life is so hard, I just got stomped on by the man, you're going to go. If somebody says, I like my coffee with cream, you go. Alright, so you get the idea. It's an interactive sport. You should not be afraid to make noise. It helps the poets out. Especially those, I hear there's some poets not doing their own work from the speech class or something in the mix. So they got to learn how to interact with an audience in real time. Does that make sense? That can only happen if you're giving me some love and some noise and some energy. Okay, so what we're going to do, where are my judges at? Hold up your scorecards really quick, all 5 of you. He's already gone over the whole judge spiel thing, yes? So I'm going to give away a little secret before we start the show. The slam is a gimmick. It's not fair. It isn't. The best part always loses. I'm sorry. You can get your refund at the door if you want. The idea of the slam is to actually get an audience involved with poetry and with poets. Not to be removed and scared and silent. The poet does not stand on Mount Olympus and declare poetry from upon high. These are folks going up and sharing their hearts and their minds and their emotions with you. The least you can do is follow the pretense of the slam and interact. These judges, well, it's like a representative democracy. They're your elected representatives, randomly picked kind of behind the scenes in a smoky room atmosphere. And they are now, just like your congressman, deciding the fate of your future. And so you need to get involved, and if they're not reflecting the scores that you like, you need to scream and holler, just like you would hopefully for your elected officials, right? Yeah! So if somebody does an incredible poem, you're crying out of one side, laughing out of the other side, you don't know what to do, you're flopping around on the ground having seizures, the poem was so amazing, and the judge puts up a 3.2. What kind of noise do you make in disappointment? I heard somebody make noise over there. What would you all do if somebody put up a score? What if the purple judge put up a 2.2 for the best poem you've ever heard? What's the noise you would make? Now, what if he grabbed a clue and he put up a 10? What's the noise you'd make? Now, understand, judges, you're now like representative Congress people. You're not beholden to the masses anymore. Ignore their pleas for attention, their cries for love and affection and representation. Be strong, stay true to yourselves. You've read the introduction in your scorecards. Are we all clear? We know what the idea of the slam is. The slam is to bring poets up and to get you involved in what's going on. We ready to start? Yeah. Jamie, help me out for a second. Why is this crowd not responding more?
We've been talking too much.
Jamie thinks we've been talking too much and we need to start the poetry.
Yeah!
In order to warm you up before the poets coming and representing Las Positas come up to the microphone, we're going to bring up the Berkeley Slam team to represent on the mic. We'll have the judges sort of warm themselves up on us because we've got thick skins, we're tough, we understand what the concept is. But we can't do that until you make some noise.
Yeah!
So if you'd like to bring up a poet, if you want me to stop talking, then you better make a lot of noise and bring Geoff Trenchard to the microphone!
How y'all doing?
Hey, what up? Pretty good, how are you?
Okay, so after crying for 2 days straight, I realized how much more time I would now have to write. I learned a definition of pathetic that works like a retarded, self-recharging battery. Sadly, Stoic stone chakras shatter under the strain of those 3 little words reversed and resampled again. I don't love you. That extra expression sticks out like a chicken bone in my throat. And after crying for 2 days straight, I've got nothing left to do but get high and stare at the cat. Because This is the mean time, the awkward stages between hurt and healed, full and spilled, good and bad, and my molars mash at imaginary match heads like flints rub steel, and right now I feel bad. Vodka, chased by malt liquor, burn in the back of my throat bad, pulling cigarette butts up out of the ashtray and smoking them till I burn red holes in yellow-stained fingers that puss over off-white to slightly resemble an Eastern European flag bad. Bad like I ate a whole bag full of ramen noodles without cooking them. And I can feel that sick expand inside of my stomach, but can't do anything but suffer through it till it shits itself out of me so bad I've got nothing left to do but get high and stare at the cat. And as the scrape of flakes is raked across the litter box, I realize that she doesn't love me anymore. And there's nothing that anyone can do about that. And as I watch the cat's urine clump, I slump to the phone in the center of the floor and am torn and reformed as the relationship was with the mortar of cheap shots and spit. And I meant for all the fights not to count. Prayed to gods we agreed not to believe in that it'd all work out. That, in a few years, we'd get a place where the rents aren't so steep. In a few years, that 6-foot shadow of self-loathing would creep to where it couldn't so easily be seen, in a few years. She said she'd love to raise some kids with me. Good memories make the worst regrets. So I'm back. To hand-to-mouth to typewriter, to insomniac scotch and Philly's blunt funk stuck to my breath at all hours of the day. I'm back to the art and the art alone. I'm back to sloped stairs at cats and clocks, back to acting like an 8-year-old with nothing in his hand but a rock and an imaginary tank in his front yard, back to filling myself with enough blood manure to bear a billion beautiful crumpled paper poems, but birthing for her only helpless hemlock every time I tried to say how I really felt. So I'm back to feeling phantom fingers that etch my stomach like elated wet grass. So I'm back to washing out my mouth and mind with the solution of whiskey and shattered glass, because I don't want to think about any of this anymore. So I'm left alone with a faith rooted in molten stone that time is passing the same way it always will, with me right along with it.